Sean Spicer was there from the start, his first fight over the crowd size at the inauguration. So tonight, who's now in charge of delivering the president's message? ABC's chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl leading us off.
Today, just 6 months into the job, President Trump's embattled press secretary called it quits. Sean Spicer's brief tenure got off to a bad start.
This was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period, both in person and around the globe.
Spicer's debut made nobody happy. The president didn't like his look, including the ill-fitting suit, and others criticized his inaccuracies, or as another aide called them,
Sean Spicer, our press secretary, gave alternative facts.
2 days later, he took his first questions. I asked a basic one.
Is it your intention to always tell the truth from that podium, and will you pledge never to knowingly say something that is not factual?
It is. It's an honor to do this, and yes, I believe that we have to be honest with the American people.
History will judge whether he lived up to that, but his confrontational style...
I'm sorry, please stop shaking your head again. Somebody's asking a question. It's not your press briefing. Okay, you don't get to just yell out questions. We're going to raise our hand like big boys and girls.
And the unforgettable SNL parody...
I would like to begin today by apologizing on behalf of you to me.
made Sean Spicer a celebrity, the most mocked, but also the most famous press secretary ever. But today it all came crashing down. He was totally blindsided by the president's choice of a new communications director, slamming the door in my face when I went up to ask him about it. Hours later, as Spicer slipped out of the West Wing, the all-smiles appearance of the new hire, Anthony Scaramucci, setting an entirely different tone.
I'm gonna get to everybody, don't worry.
He's a wealthy financier, friend of the president, but in the early days of the campaign, he called Trump a hack politician, and worse.
I'll tell you who he's going to be president of. You can tell Donald I said this. The Queens County Bullies Association. You got to cut it out now and stop all this crazy rhetoric.
Does he know what you said about him back in 2015 when you said he was a hack politician?
He brings it up every 15 seconds. Okay? One of the biggest mistakes that I made, because I was an unexperienced person in the world of politics, I was supporting another candidate. I should have never said that about him. So, Mr. President, if you're listening, I personally apologize for the 50th time for saying that.
We asked the same question we asked Sean Spicer back in January.
There's been a question about credibility, some things that have been said in this room. Is it your commitment to the best of your ability, give accurate information, the truth from that podium?
I sort of feel like I don't even have to answer that question. I hope you can feel that from me, just from my body language. That's the kind of person I am. We'll do the best I can.
All right, John Karl with us live from the White House tonight. And John, you reported that Sean Spicer was blindsided by this announcement of a new communications director, and he was not the only one caught off guard here?
This was a decision that was made by the president himself. The only ones he really consulted with were his daughter Ivanka, his son-in-law Jared Kushner. The other senior staff, David, for the most part, did not even learn of this until the president had already made up his mind. When they did learn of it, some of them tried to get the president to change his mind, but to no avail.
John Karl leading us off on a Friday night. John, thank you. Of course, the growing cloud over the president and his new team now. The special counsel